Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Patches Metal.
1, 2, 3, 4. Patches
So this is not going to be a normal episode, this is going to be a Q&A video again. And I have a shitload of questions to go through. And I gotta be honest, my neck fucking hurts. Like, I was at a Sarathon show yesterday and he gave me a shirt, by the way, so thanks a fucking lot, man. But other than Sarathon, there were a couple of other bands. I don't remember the first band, I don't remember the third band. I think it was something like Swartkroon? I don't know. And the headliners were Exdeo and Nile. And this was pretty fucking cool. Not that I'm into death metal that much, but still just seeing those bands is quite awesome. And I ran into Ed Vader there, which is also quite awesome. You'll probably know him as Infidel Amsterdam, or you'll know him as Ed Vader, depending on how much of a stalker you are. So yeah, ran into him. That was pretty cool. I also ran into Christopher Baus. I don't know, I'll probably pronouncing this completely the wrong way, but yeah, he was there as well because apparently he's pretty good friends with the singer from Exdeo / the singer from Catechism. And he gave me a piece of ham, like the meat. Like he just walked up to me and he was like, "Here you go." Oh, by the way, if you don't know who Christopher Baus is, he's the singer from Ailstorm and the singer from Gloryhammer. So yeah, just walked up to me with like that piece of shoulder ham and was like, "Here you go, man." What? But yeah, so pretty memorable night to say the least. So now on to the questions, and I got a lot of questions from people asking me about, do you like this specific band or do you like that specific band? And there are so many of those that it's just gonna be fucking difficult to answer, and mostly because nearly all of the bands that got asked are in a certain genre I don't like. I got a shitload of questions about black metal bands. Like, hey, do you like Bathory? Hey, do you like Karagangran? Hey, do you like what's the name again? Watain? Do you like Immortal? Do you like this? Do you like that? And I can pretty safely say no to all of it, because no, I don't like black metal. And I gotta say a few things. There are some black metal bands that have been part of my my growing up in metal, so to say. Like, for instance, Immortal was one of the first metal bands I heard that were actually sounding, how do you say, fucking evil. Like seriously thinking like, dude, are they satanic or something? And I was pretty young back then, and I was pretty easily influenced by stuff like that. Not in a way that like I suddenly turned satanic, but I would immediately fall in love with it just because it was so damn different from all the other bands and all the other music that I knew. So, do I really enjoy the music? No, not in particular. Do I respect the musicians? Yes. I mean, I pretty much respect every single musician. And do I like, I don't know, it's hard to say. Like, for instance, I have an Immortal patch on one of my patch jackets, and it's not because I enjoy the music, but it's because I recognize them as one of the biggest parts of influence in my metal history. And that, to me, means as much to me as a band that I just like the music of. Like, for instance, I could have put, just gonna say anything random, I could have put a Hammerfall patch in its place. But Hammerfall doesn't mean as much to me as Immortal does. Even though I enjoy Hammerfall a lot more, Immortal is still, a bigger part of my metal being. So yeah, this wasn't even a question, but just me telling you this. So here you go, have this information. And yeah, to other people who ask me, about these bands, I'm sorry, but I'm not gonna answer every one of them because that would mean this video is going to be about 3 hours long. If you really need to know, like if I like a specific band, you can send me a message on Facebook and I'll do my honest best to reply to every single message I get on Facebook and wherever. So it's quite easier to, type yes or no there instead of looking every single band up and listening to their music and, forming my opinion. Sorry again. So yeah, there's that. The whole do you like this band thing, I'm just going to leave it out of this video. Except for one band, by the way. Just because it's a Dutch band. Now, someone asked me like, he was like, whoa, Sinister's fucking awesome. See them. And speaking of Dutch bands, do you like the Monolith Death Cult? And yeah, I fucking love the Monolith Death Cult. So there's that. And if you guys don't know Monolith Death Cult, then look them up. And especially, this is the song I enjoy most of them, Wrath of the Bath. And I'll put a link in the description below because it's pretty hard to type out Bath because it's some weird spelling. Anyway, there's that, and that much for do I like bands or do I not like bands. Another question was, what's the first concert you've ever been to? And it's pretty hard to answer. And it's also not as interesting as you might think to answer. Because the first concert I've been to was probably when I was about 3 years old. Because my parents used to take me to a lot of different concerts. Like a lot of classical concerts, a lot of jazz concerts, a lot of like world music. I don't really know the English word for it. But like music from all over the world kind of stuff. Sorry. Yeah, they used to take me to a lot of those kinds of gigs, especially for the first roughly 10 years of my life, and not like in a forced way to like you have to appreciate this kind of music because it's great music or something, but just to give me the opportunity to see musicians and see a lot of shows. So it's only something I can thank them a lot for. But yeah, so I wouldn't really remember what the exact first concert was I've ever been to. One of the first louder concerts I've ever been to was probably Anti-Flag back in 2005 or something. I don't really remember when that was exactly, but I think Anti-Flag was my first louder concert. And the first metal concert. Fuck. I think that would probably be either a gig with Shadows Fall, Trivium, Machine Head and Slipknot, or it was a gig with Slayer and two bands I don't really remember. It was one of those two shows. So yeah, probably when I was about 14, 13 years old or something. I think. I don't really remember quite well. Now I got this other question, which was how do you teach a kid about metal? Which is a pretty awesome question because I've been thinking about that myself. And first of all, I gotta say, just to be safe, so no one is going to flame me or anything, don't indoctrinate your kids with anything. Because like, if they enjoy rap or if they enjoy techno or dubstep or pop or whatever, just let them have it, I mean, you'd probably be pissed off with your parents if they were like, don't listen to metal. Metal is a shit genre of music and you should be listening to better music and stuff. You'd think they suck, and so don't turn into that person yourself. But to just put that aside, how to teach a kid about metal? Well, first of all, show them fucking patches. Seriously. Now, though, a good way would be not necessarily my history lessons, but just to, in any way possible, educate them about the history of metal. And the history of metal kind of shows this line, like starting out with blues and rock and just getting louder and louder as you go, and that is probably the best way to start listening to metal as well. You know, anyone can appreciate Led Zeppelin, and once you appreciate Led Zeppelin, you can appreciate Deep Purple and Black Sabbath, and once you appreciate Deep Purple and Led Zeppelin, you can start appreciating Judas Priest and Iron Maiden a lot more. And once you appreciate those, you can start appreciating, you know, the kind of glam metal, hair metal bands more. And once you appreciate those, you'll easily roll into thrash metal. And from thrash metal, you can pretty much go anywhere. Like, once you actually sit down and think like, thrash metal, man, this is fucking cool, and you can so easily, you know, go on to death thrash, and from there on to death metal, or to thrash and black metal, and, you know, from there on go on to actual black metal. And that's probably the best way, you know, for anyone to get into metal, not just kids, but I've had with a lot of people where, like, only if they were interested, of course. I mean, I didn't just walk up to them and was like, I'm gonna teach you about metal today. But if they actually asked me, or if they actually showed any interest at all in metal, then I would just, you know, show them bands and be like, well, man, if you like this, you might enjoy this as well. And sometimes they'd be like, this is a little too heavy, and I'd, you know, take a step back. Sometimes they'd be like, whoa, yeah, this is fucking cool, and that's where I would be like, alright, well then, try this, you know. Going on to the point where they're gonna say, like, this is too loud for me, and then just stop, you know, and give them the time to actually get used to it. For instance, you know, like what I just said with Judas Priest. Someone a few weeks ago was like, Judas Priest, yeah, you know, it's a little too loud, man. It's so heavy, and it's so, you know, it's so worked up. Can't they chill out a bit? And I was like, you know, Judas Priest is not really gonna chill a bit, but have some Deep Purple. And, you know, Deep Purple was something he really could appreciate. And then after a while, he came up to me and was like, dude, this Judas Priest guy is actually fucking cool, and, you know, this band is also fucking cool. And he came up to me with King Diamond, which to me was like, whoa, how the fuck did you find King Diamond? Yeah, you know, I just found it, you know, scrolling through YouTube. And this is the way to let people appreciate metal. You're not just gonna go up to them and be like, here you have some fucking death metal. You can't appreciate it? Alright then, fuck you. Well, no. That's not how it's gonna work. And well, the same goes for kids as well as for any adult or any person in general. Don't bombard them with, you know, the stuff that you know they're not going to like, because it's just going to, you know, prove to them again that metalheads can be dicks. I've had this guy, you know, talk to me, and he was like, yeah, man, I'm gonna send them black metal, and I'm gonna send them this because I know they'll, you know, not enjoy it. He was talking about some emo guy who was like, yeah, screamo is metal, and he was like, no, screamo isn't metal, this is metal. And, you know, sending them black metal. And how the fuck do you think anyone's going to appreciate metalheads in general, if, you know, they're going to treat people that way? Because, like I just said, it just proves again how we can be stuck up fucking dicks. So yeah, let's just all of us together help break this stereotype by taking it slow with people. Talking about kids, someone asked me how my time in high school was, and I'll be really honest, my time in high school, like, just that whole period of my life was, you know, fucking amazing. Seriously. And I know a lot of, you know, metalheads and a lot of guys and girls like me don't really like high school because, you know, they don't fit in with everyone else, and they're not like everyone else, and they don't like the people around them, and the people around them don't like them, and etc. etc. And I understand this, but I just did not at all have this problem, mainly because of the people around me, and probably partially just because of, you know, how I reacted to shit when I, before high school, middle school, I think it's called. Not very familiar with the English terms, but like all the years before high school, I was quite, bullied a lot, and in some way you build up some kind of resistance, and like before then, I would just, I would cry, or I would, walk away from school, or not want to go back, and that kind of stuff. And at some point in my life, don't really completely know when or why this was, but I just decided to stop giving a fuck. And I went to this new school, to my high school, and I just showed up there. I decided, like, let's just look the part that I want to look. And I had kind of an emo kind of face back then, so I just had this red part of my hair, and everything else was black. And I was walking in like shirts with upside down crosses with bleeding angels laying over it, and vests with spikes on it and stuff, and a lot of chains on my pants. And just walked up. I just got at the school, and no one even bothered asking or saying anything about it. It was just, alright, there's the goth guy. Who gives a fuck? And in some way I just got accepted in the group or something, and I just joined them. And from then on they just became some of my best friends, really. So the people I met in high school are still some of my best friends, even though I don't speak to them as often as I'd like. But once you start caring, let me rephrase that. Once you stop caring about it, other people will stop caring about it as well. If you're just gonna be yourself, and there's not gonna be an emphasis on it, then no one's really gonna bother putting an emphasis on it either. Because I see a lot of these, like, emo kind of people, or goth kind of people, or metalheads, or whatever they want to call themselves, or whatever they want to express, who make it too fucking clear that they're doing it just to be different. If I see a status on Facebook and it says something like, I'm gonna be who I want to be and fuck anyone who doesn't like me, then you're putting such an emphasis on it. You're making sure that people will dislike you because of what you're doing. If I see that, seriously, it just makes me dislike someone just for the fact that they're being such a fucking twat about it. And back then I just be like, I didn't even quite realize that it was weird to be the emo guy or the goth guy. It really took me about a year to actually realize that I even was an emo kid. I'd done what I'd like to do back then, and no one bothered, and I didn't bother, and just went like that. I mean, yeah, of course, there were one or two occasions where it'd be shoved in my face, but even then it would more of be a compliment than an actual insult. When someone would be like, "Dude, you're looking fucking weird," I'd be like, "Hell yeah, man!" And once that's gonna be your kind of mindset, then really there's not a lot in the world that can actually bother you anymore. So to anyone who's bothered with this kind of stuff, and like the whole bullying and being alienated because you're a metalhead and bullshit like that, just stop caring yourself, and eventually people will stop caring as well. Some fucking life advice for you. So I might have to hurry this up a little bit, so some questions I'm going to go through a little faster. Do you like fishing or hunting? I have never hunted in my entire life. I would love to. So I've done some fishing, and it was quite relaxing, but it's not like I actually got anything. So I'm not even sure if that can be called fishing then. Do I smoke marijuana? I do not smoke marijuana anymore. I used to for maybe a year or two, something like that. But I just stopped. After a while it wasn't interesting at all anymore. And it was just like from one day to the other I was like, fuck it, not gonna do it anymore. And it's been quite nice without it. It's especially been a lot less expensive without it. How do I get backstage to interview bands? Well, one, of course, if I have the show, if I'm playing at the show myself, then, of course I'm gonna be backstage. Um, in the last case, the Heavy at Haarlem case, it was John de Ruiter, the organizer guy from Heavy at Haarlem, and also the singer from Third Machine, who's just invited me over. Like, dude, would you like to interview the bands and film for Patches a little bit? Awesome, of course, fucking cool. So yeah, I really have to have it from these kind of, friends. How do you call it? I think it's called friend services or something, like, just helping each other out. So that's that. Do I have any siblings? I do have one brother who's more of a funk, reggae kind of guy. Really relaxing. Not really my kind of music, but at least we can appreciate each other on a musician level. Now, a couple of people asked me vocal tips. How did I learn to sing like that? Which I'm not sure if you mean the intro scream thing or the State of Negation grunting thing. If you mean the first one, then it just came to me. Like, I didn't even, practice for it or anything. I just at some point found out that I can yell really fucking high and really fucking loud. There's not a lot of effort that goes into it. It's not very difficult to do. Once you know how to do it, then it's just as simple as, moving your hands or talking or whatever. If, however, you mean the grunting, and as well as, what all the other people meant, then there are two very important factors. The first one is just fucking practice. Like, seriously, once you start doing it, and the best thing is to do it in a band, like, don't make covers, because you're always going to try to sound like, whoever usually sings the track, and that's not really gonna mean you're really going to, how do you say this, improve your own qualities. Seriously, that took me about 5 fucking shots to get these words out. Anyway, so yeah, the best thing is to just practice and just, go along with a band or with your own band, or I don't know, even if you have to, you just play the guitars yourself and just try some shit out, and eventually you'll find like the best way to do it. But the second and probably the best tip I can give anyone when it comes to metal singing, not only grunting but also the normal singing, clean singing, is Zen of Screaming by Melissa Cross, I think she's called. This is some kind of documentary lessons video kind of thing in which she gives all the proper exercises, all the proper ways to sing, and this helped me so fucking much, because first of all, my throat never ever hurts anymore, like after singing or grunting or whatever. I can go on for as long as I want, and if I do it properly, it's not gonna hurt at all. And it's gonna make your vocals louder, it's gonna make it rawer, it's gonna make it you're gonna be able to go higher and lower without having to put more effort into it. And yeah, it just helps out a lot. So Zen of Screaming, you cannot download it, I think. Maybe some links are up again, but she really keeps a close eye on that, so you're probably gonna have to buy it, but it's gonna come with a lot of extras anyway. So yeah, best thing to do is just buy it. It's gonna help you out a lot. Now, someone asked me a very, very specific question. It's something I really want to go into a bit more. They asked me, is there such a thing as a musical expert? And with this, he meant that can there be, like, at a magazine or at a radio station or something, can you really say that someone should have this kind of influence on what we like? For instance, if someone says, like, this album is shit, then a lot of people accept this as almost a fact. Like, okay, he says this is crap, so it's gonna be crap, and I'm going to tell the entire world it's crap. sometimes without even listening to the actual CD. And this entire story has two sides, because on one hand, this is really understandable, and it may be even something I do myself from time to time, where when I know I usually agree with someone, and they say like, "Man, this is crap," then my mind is without me even realizing it, it's just going to label it as crap before I've heard it, or maybe even after I've heard it. Like if I've listened to it and I was like, yeah, maybe this is alright. I'm gonna, it's gonna have to grow on me or something. And a friend of mine comes up to me and he says like, yeah, did you hear it? Yeah, it's fucking awful, isn't it? And that's going to influence my opinion, and it's not something I like, and it's not something I necessarily choose, but it just happens. And this is an example on a very small scale, like him coming up to me, saying it to me, and therefore, our interaction being that the album isn't enjoyable. But some magazines or some radio stations and stuff like that reach so many people with this, and there are so many people who then accept this as a fact, something to live by. Like, yeah, he says it's awful, so I'm not even gonna bother listening to it or something. And he somewhat asked my opinion on it, and if I think that these people actually should have this kind of power, and I think they should, because some people, a lot of people actually, scarily a lot of people, want to keep music as simple as possible. Even when they're metalheads, even when they're, into the weirdest, most progressive, experimental kind of metal, they still want to keep it simple. They want to have a choice. This is good, this is not good. And if they have a particular person or reviewer or promoter or whatever who they trust with all their heart, and their opinion is, as important to them as their own opinion, then it's gonna make it so much easier for them, because they're not gonna have to go through a lot of albums. They're easily going to decide, yeah, okay, this is something I'm going to like, and probably, if one of those reviewers says like, this album is amazing, then no doubt they're going to buy it or download it or whatever, and for those people, this is just great. It's really nice that they don't have to try out all this stuff. However, there are also going to be a lot of people who want to form their own opinion on this, and these musical experts leave everyone free in it. Just because someone says that something is not nice or not enjoyable or whatever, it's not gonna mean any restriction to you in listening to the album, liking the album. I've noticed a lot of times that when someone says something is crap, it also means for me that just makes me want to listen to it more, depending from who it's coming, of course. And in a world with all kind of music, the whole world of metal, opinion is so damn important. Like with techno or with pop, when you don't like something, you're probably not even going to say it. It's just going to be like, yeah, I like this, yeah, I don't like this, and that's it. Maybe this is a really stupid example, but you have this guy from the Netherlands, Armin van Buuren, I think he's called, and he's just one of the world top guys in techno, trance kind of music. And they had this talk show with him, and not for a single second, well, maybe for like 1 or 2 questions it was about the music, but other than that, they didn't spend, a single moment talking about the music. It was just at some point like, yeah, your style has changed a bit. Yeah, I know, man, my style has changed a bit, but yeah, people like it. And the interview was like, yeah, indeed, people like it. and was done. You know, that was all the music they talked about. And when it comes to metal, we've all seen this happening. I mean, your opinion is about the most important bloody thing when it comes to metal. There's so much to like and so much not to like and so much to hate and so much to, you know, adore, and this is great and this is shit and this is so and this is everything, you know, and that makes it nice. That makes the whole musical expert thing nice as well, because you have something to agree with or something to disagree with, and it just makes it all the more fun to, you know, talk about your opinion and share your opinion with other people and see what they have to say about it. So in my opinion, yes, there should be things as musical experts. There can be things that musical experts. No, they cannot state facts. They cannot make something necessarily be good or bad just because they say it. But it's still nice that they influence people just for the sake of good argument. So that's almost the end of this Q&A video. I hope it lived up to the expectations. I hope people, you know, enjoyed it. However, I have a questions for you guys as well. Probably everyone saw the black metal cover. No, not a cover, just a black metal song I did with my extremely handsome drummer from the Motherfuckers folk band. And we want to do that a lot more. Just making covers of stuff. And the question to you guys, the question from him, the drummer, to you guys was, what genre should we be covering next? So it can be anything, you know, depressive, suicidal black metal, or symphonic Italian power metal, or just whatever you're gonna come up with. Let us know, and we're going to try to make a proper cover again. Now another thing, I am going to get back to the education videos, because I've heard a lot of people say they were like missing it, and they really wanted to, you know, get the follow-ups to it. So that's going to be there soon, and there's going to be a black metal episode, and in this black metal episode I'm going to show you guys something very special. Something I got in the mail a few days ago, and something I'm really fucking proud of. I want to keep it a secret for now, but you'll see it then, and I'm going to talk a lot about it then. So it's going to be the history lesson of metal, it's going to be about a couple of black metal bands, and it's going to be about this whole secret mysterious thing. So yeah, there's that. It's going to be out probably in a week or something, but I'm going to have to find the time, because yeah, I'm going to make it like some sort of a special episode. So yeah, there's that. Again, I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you have any other suggestions or questions or whatever, leave it below. If you have questions about, you know, if I like particular bands or not, send them on Facebook, and I will try my very best to answer it. And I will see you all next time again.